Welcome back. If you've just joined us, you're watching the news at 10, broadcasting on Channels Television live from Lagos. Well, assurance has been given that long queues at petrol stations across the country will soon disappear. This is coming from the Finance Minister, Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, while saying that the payment of outstanding claims to petroleum marketers will be made.
Petrol stations across Nigeria have witnessed long queues as a result of non-payment of subsidy claims to oil marketers. This continued even after the federal government announced that it has paid 156 billion naira to the marketers as of last week. The situation left many Nigerians to spend between 5 to 6 hours waiting to buy fuel. But while sale was ongoing at some fuel stations visited by Channels Television crew, some other fuel stations were not selling the product in spite of receiving supply.
You could just queue for almost about 7-8 hours before you go buy fuel, which is very bad. For this our country one would there. In Nigeria, I'm not supposed to get this kind of issue like this.
Since 6 o'clock, I joined queue here. Look at the queue here. The queue will turn round. Look at what we are facing in this country. Imagine in your country you become a slave. Look at most especially like me that I'm using this car for commercial. How can person cope up? At the end of the day, you balance the honor.
In order to resolve this hardship on Nigerians, the Minister of Finance held a meeting with major oil marketers in the country. After the meeting that lasted for over 2 hours, the minister and the petroleum marketers addressed reporters.
In waiting here, and thank Nigerians for their patience with the fuel issue. I also want to thank the marketers who asked to come and see us here in finance today. We've had a very fruitful meeting. As you see, we've discussed for quite a few hours, and I think the meeting has been fruitful.
But in a couple of days, we will start seeing that Abuja will also have the relief that we normally know of. Like I said, it's a family issue, and we have resolved. We continue to talk, and so expect more fuel to start coming into Abuja because the drivers are now working.
For now, both government officials and petroleum marketers appear to have resolved their own parts of payment claims. What Nigerians look forward to in the days ahead is adequate supply of the product to end the queues in petrol stations.
Well, the money laundering case against the former Minister of Aviation, Mr. Fani-Kayode, is finally coming to an end as both counsels adopted their written addresses in the case, which started in 2007. And after 8 years of legal argument, it is now time to hear from the judge. And Justice Rita Ofili Ajumogobia has fixed judgment on June the 18th. Our correspondent Victoria Ido reports.
Under the watchful eyes of armed men, Fani-Kayode moves into the court as his lawyers adopts their final address in money laundering case against the former Minister of Aviation. Although it's difficult to determine his thoughts in the dock, Mr. Fani-Kayode may be eager to get to the end of this long and lengthy case. Defense lawyer Fani-Kayode, while adopting his written address, stated that the prosecution had failed in its duty to prove the receipt of 1 million naira cash by the accused, which had been the bone of contention in the case. He further stated that it was the duty of the prosecution to prove beyond all reasonable doubt the guilt of the accused person, not the defense.
We had, in line with the rules of court, adopted our written submissions to the fact that the prosecution has failed, rather woefully, to prove its charge against our client. And we do believe that justice will be served at the end of the day, because the allegation is that he received money. And we are convinced that that charge cannot be sustained because nobody was called to say he gave money to our client.
Responding to this, the prosecution counsel, Festus Keyamo, submitted that the burden of proof shifted to the defense to prove the source of money found on him. He stated that he had failed to provide the court with any physical evidence of the source of money, which is against the Money Laundering Prohibition Act of 2011.
We made our final written address. We have closed our case. the defense also closed its case, and today was for our final addresses to the court. And we have done our best, and we expect the court to decide one way or the other.
And whether the case goes his way or not, Mr. Festus Keyamo says that there is urgent need to reform the judicial system. Just
to say that the length of the time the case took shows that we need a lot of reforms in the criminal justice system. You know, this trial started in 2007 or 2008 or so, and for this length of time we went to the Supreme Court and we came back again. So it shows that we need a lot of reforms in our criminal justice system, and we have made a lot of recommendations in the past about this, and we hope that, you know, sometime, you know, these reforms will be accepted and we can have faster trials, criminal trials in our system.
Both counsels, satisfied to have come to the end of this case, can now wait for the ruling. And after listening to both submission, Justice Rita Ophelia Jumowobi adjourned the case till the 18th of June 2015 for judgment. Victoria Ido, reporting for Channels Television News.
Well, still looking at the judicial matters, the All Progressives Congress APC factional Speaker of the Ekiti State House of Assembly, Mr. Adewale Omiri, has challenged the jurisdiction of the Federal High Court, Abuja, to hear a suit filed by the People's Democratic Party faction of the Assembly, challenging the attempt to impeach Governor Ayodele Fayose. Counsel to the APC faction, Mr. Terence Vembe, told the court today that the applicants did not properly seek the leave of the court to file the suit, and as such, the suit cannot be heard. However, counsel to the PDP faction, Mr. Ahmed Raji, opposed the application, saying Mr. Vembe did not properly file a notice of appearance to the court, and therefore has no right to address the court or even challenge its jurisdiction. Meanwhile, trial judge Justice Ivo Chukwu asked all parties to exchange documents on the matter and fixed May the 21st for the court to decide on the question of jurisdiction. Looks like a busy moment around that, judicial area. 38 inmates have been released from different prisons across Ogun State. The prisoners were set free by the Chief Judge of the state, Mrs. Tokumbo Olopade, during her quarterly visit to the prisons. Justice Olopade said the move is to ensure the prisons are decongested, while the state government is considering computerization of the judicial system in order to hasten the dispensation of justice. She asked those released to be of good behavior as they reunite with their family members and the society.
These inmates laying face down are some of the lucky ones released by the Chief Judge of Ogun State. They were set free after the initial section-by-section assessment of the cases against them. Some of them give account of what led to their arrest.
On 18 February last year, when policemen came from SAS around midnight to arrest my younger brother, so one of them that led the group came and said, who am I to be questioning the authority that they should arrest everybody in the house?
Exactly 2 years ago. So while I went looking for her, I saw some guys and they asked me what happened. I told them I was looking for a person and she spoke on the phone. And 5 minutes after I went, they apprehended her and started beating her in my absence. And that was all I knew. Eventually, I learned she died 2 weeks later. That's why I was trying to hold on.
And on this development, the Chief Judge of the state reveals that the state government is considering the computerization of the justice system to ensure the quick dispensation of justice.
Very soon, the issue of inability to duplicate case file and, in essence, in effect, failure to send case files to the DPP for legal advice and filing of information will be a thing of the past. It is my hope that the police and all other stakeholders will cooperate with us in this regard. They are to make full use of these clinics, as I said, in Abeokuta High Court, Ijebode High Court, and Ota High Court.
The government is working assiduously to fast-track the dispensation of justice to ensure all cases are treated with utmost fairness.
Well, now, a conference of Anglican churches in the Lagos Diocese is holding at the St. Saviour's Church, Tafawa Balewa Square. It is led by the diocesan bishop at Lagos and Dean Emeritus Church of Nigeria Anglican Communion, the Most Reverend Ephraim Ademowo. The governor of Lagos was also present as a special guest, and he spoke on the need for law and order to be maintained for Nigeria's progress. Our correspondent Olumide Macaulay reports.
Anglican churches in the Lagos Diocese came to shelter under the wings of St. Saviour's Church, venue of the 32nd Synod of the Church of Nigeria Anglican Communion. The Most Reverend Ephraim Ademowo led the ceremony.
Corruption poses a serious developmental challenge in the political realm. It undermines democracy and good governance. Corruption in elections and in legislative bodies reduces accountability and fair representation in policy making.
Afterwards, he had special words for the special guest of the day.
Our indefatigable and indomitable government, Barrister Babatunde Raji Fashola, has done us proud in this country and outside this country. I always say this without using words, that he has taken our state to a greater height. Lagos State has become a reference point for other states.
Who in turn had a speech on moving Nigeria forward by adherence to law and order.
If you look at Nigeria today and Nigeria 5 years ago, the difference is law. We want to live today are more beautiful than the ones of 40 years ago. We have learned how to do who we are past. 40 years ago, how many people had their ambition in the offices? We work with seriousness. But the truth is, I will have that to be 40 years ago. The difference seems to me to be more.
As the Anglican Church in Nigeria forges ahead in its scriptural doctrine, it makes societal impact with the message of the Lord Jesus not to be forgotten. Go ye and make disciples of all nations. Olumide Macaulay, Channels Television News.
Well, apologies. Actually, that event took place at Our Saviour's Church at Tafawa Balewa Square. Now, the next picture you'll be seeing are protesters in Lagos who say they are trained officers of the Federal Task Force. Well, they say, it is an office which promised them employment after several trainings. Their grievances are that they were promised jobs after they purchased forms and paid for training sessions and uniforms, but it appears the organizers have defrauded them, haven't paid them nothing since they were engaged. Some of them say they left their former jobs because of the hopes raised about the opportunity of getting a federal government job under the Federal Task Force, which they say is tied to the subsidy reinvestment program SHORP. The men and women marched through the streets of Ikeja, the capital of Lagos State, demanding answers to the many questions about their predicaments.
We always do whatever I can do to at least get it.
When News 10 returns, Nigeria's Purchasing Managers Index shows manufacturing growth declines marginally from 55.3 in March to 50 points in April. That's the business news.